How will China's rare earth empire weaken by 2035? Imagine a world where your electric car is running, a smartphone is in your hand, a missile defense system is ready at the border, a wind turbine is generating electricity, and suddenly a country says, "The key to all of this is in my hands." This key is not an oil well, it is not a gold mine, and it is not a secret software either. This key is rare earth minerals, without which the breath of modern technology can get choked. For years, China held this very key tightly in its fist. The world made gadgets, made electric vehicles, made defense systems, but for many important materials used inside them, eyes turned only towards Beijing. But now, a twist has come into the story. The very rare earth power on which China built its global dominance, its own researchers have issued a warning regarding that very power. This warning is not simple. It does not mean that China's land will become empty. The real meaning is that the monopoly which gave China the power to pressure the world's factories may gradually weaken. The story begins with that treasure hidden inside the earth, which is called rare earth. From the name, it feels like these minerals must be very rare, but the truth is that finding rare earth is not that difficult. Extracting and refining them is what's difficult. The real strength of these minerals is hidden in their small size. From smartphone speakers to electric car motors, from fighter jets to wind turbines, they are used in many places. China understood decades ago that the future will not run on oil alone. The future will run on magnets, batteries, electronics, clean energy and defense technology. And behind all of these, rare earth minerals will work silently. When the rest of the world was focusing on cheap manufacturing and finished products, China started setting up the entire chain of mining, refining, processing and magnet manufacturing. This was China's biggest strategy. Just extracting minerals from the ground does not give power. Real power comes when you have the technology, factory and supply chain to convert it into usable material. Many countries in the world have rare earth deposits, but extracting the ore and converting it into refined oxide, metal, alloy and powerful magnets is a very complicated process. This process requires chemical treatment, separation technology, pollution control, skilled workers and long-term investment. China turned this very difficult path into its weapon. This is the reason why in today's world of rare earth, China looks less like a miner and more like a gatekeeper. Even if many countries find the mineral, the path for processing still goes back to China. But now the question arises, if China is so strong, why is the 2035 warning being considered so big? Because Chinese researchers have estimated that China's share in the raw material supply could decline significantly in the coming decade. This means that at the level of mines, China's solo dominance may not remain the same as before. The most dramatic part of the report is exactly this, that by 2035, China's estimated raw material share could drop quite low, and by 2040, this decline could deepen further. One thing to note here is that this is a prediction, not a guarantee. Only if mining projects start on time, environmental approvals are received, funding comes in, there is no local resistance, and processing capacity is built, will this change be visible on the ground. Meaning, 2035 is not some year when China will wake up one morning and its treasure will be gone. The real story is of a gradual shift. This shift is becoming possible because the world has started understanding the risk of China dependency. America, Europe, Japan, Australia and many countries are now looking at the rare earth supply chain like a matter of national security. Earlier, rare earth was considered just a raw material for industry. Now it is being treated as a strategic weapon, because a country that stops the supply can halt the speed of many industries. In 2025, when China imposed export controls on certain heavy rare earth elements and related magnets, the world realized that this is not just a theoretical risk. Automobile companies, electronics makers and defense suppliers understood that if the supply chain remains highly concentrated, whether a factory keeps running or stops will be decided not by the market but by geopolitics. This very fear is making America aggressive in the rare earth race. America has rare earth resources like Mountain Pass in California, but the challenge lies in processing and magnet manufacturing. America's effort is not just to extract the mineral, but to build an entire chain outside of China. If this chain becomes strong, America can become a big player in the matter of rare earth in the future. The second big name is Australia. Australia is already a mining powerhouse. It has stable institutions, mineral expertise and Western alliances, which is why its role in rare earth diversification is growing rapidly. Australia's strength is that it can build an image of a reliable supplier. But its challenge is no less either, because processing capacity is needed to convert the raw mineral into a value-added product. The third name belongs to South American countries like Brazil. The search for rare earth and critical minerals in South America is on the radar of global companies, as the world is looking for alternative sources to China. Brazil has mineral potential, a large landmass, and in the coming times, if investment and technology move in the right direction, it can carve out an important place in the rare earth supply chain. Africa is also a big part of this story. The name of countries like Tanzania comes up in future supply projects, but leaving Africa as just a mining ground would be an old mistake. If African countries emphasize processing, jobs, and local value addition along with mining, then the rare earth boom can become an economic transformation for them rather than just exports. Now the question is, will China really lose with the arrival of these new players? Here the story becomes a bit different. China's weakness may come in its raw material share, but its biggest strength is still in processing and magnet manufacturing. In the rare earth game, having a mine is just the first step. Real money and real control come when the mineral is converted into a high-performance magnet. The powerful magnet used in an electric vehicle motor is not made just from a stone taken out of the ground. Behind it lies the entire science of refining, separation, metallurgy, and precise manufacturing. China has built a massive ecosystem in this very science. It has factories, suppliers, skilled labor, domestic demand, and decades of practical experience. Therefore, even if the world distances itself from China in terms of mining, ending dependence on it for processing will not be very easy. This is just like a farmer growing wheat, but the entire market for flour, bakery, and packed food is under someone else's control. Having the field is necessary, but control over the market is a different thing altogether. The same logic works in rare earth minerals too. The mine might belong to a country, but if the refined material and magnet production remain in someone else's hands, the power remains incomplete. This is the reason why China's pride may break by 2035, but China will not weaken immediately. It will try to maintain its grip by shifting from raw supply to processing dominance. China's strategy could also change. It can invest in outside mines, maintain technology export controls, and turn processing equipment into a strategic barrier. The biggest challenge for the world is exactly this, that simply stopping the purchase of minerals from China is not enough. A processing capability like China's will have to be built. This work is expensive, slow, and politically sensitive too. Rare earth processing carries a risk of pollution, concerns over radioactive waste, and local communities often oppose it. China bore these environmental costs for many years, and that was the reason why other countries kept stepping back. Now, when the need has grown, those same countries want to come back into this sector. But a comeback is not easy. It can take several years for a mining project to get approval. Then the plant is built, testing happens, buyers build trust, and only then does commercial supply begin. This is why money alone is not enough in the rare earth race. Patience, policy, technology, and long-term commitment are also required. There is an important lesson for India too in this story. India has rare earth potential, but a long distance is still left to be covered in production and processing. If India remains happy, just talking about its reserves, the benefit will be limited. The real opportunity will be created only when a refining, magnet manufacturing, and research ecosystem is built alongside mining. For India, this is not just an export business, it is a question of Make in India, electric mobility, defense manufacturing, and clean energy security. If India connects the right policies, private investments, and technology partnerships in the coming decade, it can create a small but strategic role for itself in the rare earth supply chain. But if there is a delay, the same thing will happen that happened in many sectors. The resource will be ours, the value addition will happen outside, and we will have to buy the final product at a high price. Now let's come back to China. China's biggest concern is not just a reduction in its mineral share. The concern is that the world has now understood its monopoly model. Earlier, countries depended on China and considered it a normal business. Now that very dependence is being treated as a national security risk. When a country depends heavily on a single supplier for its fighter jets, submarines, drones, EVs, and smartphones, it does not remain an economic decision, it becomes a strategic vulnerability. This is exactly why America and its allies are now treating rare earth like the oil crisis. The only difference is that oil was visible, rare earth is invisible. When the price of oil rises, the effect is visible at the petrol pump. When the rare earth supply stops, the effect shows up quietly in factories, defense contracts, EV production, and the electronics chain. This was the invisible power China possessed. And this very invisible power is now being challenged gradually. But there is another twist in this entire story. The demand for rare earth itself is growing rapidly. Electric cars, wind energy, robotics, data centers, and advanced defense systems need more powerful materials. Meaning, even if China's share decreases, the market will not get smaller. The market will grow bigger and the competition will get tougher. This implies that China's share may reduce, but China's importance will not end. It can remain a big player in a big market. The only difference will be that earlier the world moved after asking China. In the future, perhaps the world will have some alternative paths. These alternative paths are the real threat to China. A broken monopoly does not mean the company has shut down. A broken monopoly means that the bargaining power has reduced. If buyers have supply options from America, Australia, Brazil, Malaysia, Japan, or Europe, the impact of China's threat will not be the same as before. For China, this will also be a psychological loss. Because rare earth has been not just a business but a diplomatic pressure tool as well. When a country knows that the world cannot run without it, its confidence in foreign policy decisions increases. But when the world builds alternatives, that same confidence gradually begins to diminish. The story of 2035 is the story of this very confidence breaking. This is a sign from nature as well as a response from geopolitics. Nature did not give rare earth to China alone. Deposits are in many parts of the world. But China turned them into a strategy first, and the rest of the world woke up late. Now the rest of the world is waking up. The question is, will it just dig mines or build the entire supply chain? If only mining happens, China's processing empire will still survive. But if refining, magnets and recycling also become strong outside of China, then the rare earth map will truly change. Recycling is an underrated part of this race. Extracting rare earth back from old EV motors, wind turbines and electronic waste can reduce mining pressure in the future. Regions like Europe and Japan can move ahead in recycling and high-tech manufacturing because they have both the waste stream and the technological discipline. Meaning the treasure of the future will not just be under the ground. Some treasure will also be hidden in old devices, scrap magnets and used machines. China is watching all of this. Therefore, it too may take steps like export controls, technology restrictions, and domestic consolidation to maintain its grip. The world's rare earth race looks quiet for this reason, but from the inside it is extremely fast. This race does not make stock market headlines every day, but it can decide the direction of the future economy. To say that China will be completely ruined by 2035 would be an overstatement. But that China's rare earth monopoly cannot remain the same as before by 2035, this possibility is serious. America will benefit, Australia will benefit, Brazil and South America will get an opportunity, Africa's role will increase, and a strategic window will open before countries like India too. But the winner will be only the one who does not just extract the mineral, but converts it into technology, factories, magnets, and the final product. The real lesson from China is precisely this, that to convert a resource into power, long-term planning is required. And the lesson for the rest of the world is that over-dependence on a single country is never safe.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.